You have lost. You lost. The mistake that you made is you let us in the first place. See, that's the thing with brown people. I'm going to say this as a brown person.
You need to see this. A major influencer just went viral for saying the quiet part out loud about the future of America. They aren't even hiding the demographic takeover agenda anymore. Watch this.
Like a lot. There's like 1.2 billion in India. There's more than 200 million in Pakistan. There's like 170 million in Bangladesh. Those are just the people there. I'm even talking about the folks who are expats or immigrants. There's a bunch of us, and we breed. We're a breeding people. And the problem is you let us in 1965. There were a few of us beforehand, but once you let one of us in, you know what happens with brown folks? Our grandmother comes, our grandfather comes, our uncle comes, our aunt comes, our cousin comes, our second cousin comes, our third cousin comes. Then we have kids, a bunch of kids. And then guess what? Some white women, the Western civilization women, the pure women, the American women, quote unquote, the Rust Belt women, the real women, they like some of us brown folks.
Wait, did you catch the tone there? It wasn't just a political statement, it was an absolute taunt. When he says, "You have lost," and "the mistake you made was letting us in," he's tapping into a very specific demographic anxiety that most politicians try to downplay. Look at his body language. He's incredibly confident, almost gloating about the weaponization of migration laws. It's wild because he's basically confirming every replacement theory that mainstream media usually labels as a fringe conspiracy. He even brings up the 1965 Immigration Act as the specific entry point. If you look closely at the comments on the original post, it's a mix of people being absolutely horrified and others cheering it on as destiny. This isn't just about immigration anymore, it's about a total redefinition of what it means to be a citizen versus a conqueror. You really have to wonder if this kind of rhetoric is actually helping his cause, or if it's just fueling the exact sour sentiment he's laughing at. It's a massive shift in how influencers are speaking to the camera.
I have the distinct honor to be able to come before you and say I actually lost white population in my community. I lost them. They left. They left. I didn't ask them why. They left. So if you see 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 whites in my neighborhood, they're passing through. But that's on a serious note. We got 13,000 black elected officials in this country. We've had mayors, we've had governors, we have city council members. We need to get radical.
Did he really just call it a distinct honor to lose white population? That is a massive mask-off moment for a public official. Usually, representatives are trying to show how they're growing their district or bringing people in. But here, he's celebrating the departure of a specific racial group. It's almost like he's viewing his district as a liberated territory rather than a unified community. Notice how he says, "They left. I didn't ask them why." That lack of curiosity is telling. It suggests he's perfectly happy with the outcome, regardless of the economic or social impact of people fleeing his jurisdiction. This is the radical shift he mentions at the end. When a leader stops representing the whole and starts celebrating the exclusion of a part, the entire melting pot idea is officially dead. You can see the shift in the room, too. It's a very specific kind of energy that feels more like a victory lap than a policy discussion. It's a complete reversal of the tolerance and inclusion rhetoric we usually hear from that side of the aisle. Is this the new normal for local politics? Look at this list from the Smithsonian. They've literally labeled hard work, the nuclear family, and objective science as traits of white dominant culture. Think about how insane that is for a second. By labeling these as white traits, they are inadvertently saying that other cultures don't value hard work or logic, which is actually incredibly patronizing to the very people they claim to protect. If you look at the future orientation section, they even list delayed gratification as a white trait. This is a foundational psychological principle for success in any society, regardless of race. By framing these universal virtues as oppressive or alien to minorities, they're basically setting people up for failure. It's a complete deconstruction of the American work ethic. If you strip away individualism and property rights, what's left? It feels like they're trying to reprogram the basic building blocks of a functional civilization and calling it equity. It's a very dangerous game to play when you start racializing the very things that make a country prosperous and stable. Who actually approved this for a national museum?
Somalia's electoral authorities have started issuing voter ID cards across Mogadishu as the capital prepares for its first direct municipal council elections in decades under a one-person, one-vote system. Printing at the Somali Independent Election Committee headquarters operates around the clock in 2 8-hour shifts, producing an estimated 30,000 to 40,000 cards daily.
This is the ultimate irony. While we're told in the US that asking for a voter ID is Jim Crow 2.0 and too complicated for certain groups to figure out, Somalia is literally running 24-hour shifts to issue digital ID cards for their first one-person, one-vote election. If a country that has dealt with decades of civil war and extreme poverty can implement a secure ID-based voting system, what's the excuse here? It really makes you question the narrative. Are they saying Americans are less capable than Somalis? Or is the opposition to ID not actually about disenfranchisement at all? When you see the actual footage of the cards being printed and the people lining up, it looks organized and modern. It completely destroys the argument that IDs are some impossible hurdle for marginalized communities. It's a powerful visual contrast. A developing nation striving for electoral integrity, while a superpower argues that basic security is a form of oppression. It's one of those moments where the rest of the world is moving forward, while we're being told that basic standards are racist to keep things simple. The political landscape is shifting faster than most people realize. What do you think? Is this radical honesty better for the country, or is it tearing us apart? Drop a comment below and let's get into it.